welcome back to Bespoke Bride YouTube channel. One thing we've always wanted to do is a Q&A, so we thought it would be fun to start our own little series of Q&As about weddings, blogging, life, anything in general. Yeah. So we asked you to ask us your DIY questions on Twitter, on Snapchat, on Facebook, on Instagram, and lots of you commented with questions. So we have picked our most popular questions to answer today, so let's get started. Okay, so Tatiana on Snapchat asked, where is the best place to source good materials?
Good question. Good question. Well, for us, we tend to source ours mostly online, don't we?
Yeah.
Just because, I don't know why, but for some reason I find high street shops being more expensive with DIY materials, and like for us sometimes it's not so bad if we're creating a DIY for you guys because we only need to make one, but if you need to make over 100 of something, then it's obviously going to cost a lot of money. So if you need to buy materials in bulk, definitely have a browse online. We tend to get a lot of our stuff from eBay, don't we? There's a lot of great, material sellers on eBay who own their own shops on there.
We've done charity shopping.
Yeah, we've been to charity shops.
So we're quite big on shopping local. Well, I'm quite big on shopping local as well. So searching into charity shops. We've got like a local craft store that you sourced candles from recently that were really cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on your area completely. If you've got a craft shops close to you, have a little look around, but also check online first because you don't want to spend that
I
more.
suppose the main piece of advice is shop around, and try to do things in advance, because if you're in a rush and your local store is more expensive, then you're obviously going to start, and you need like to have something by tomorrow, then you're obviously going to go to your local store and it's going to be more expensive. But if you know that your wedding's not for another year, then you've got that little bit of extra time to shop around and try and find the best deals.
Definitely.
It's probably the best answer.
But obviously make sure you take into account the postage as well, because sometimes
and also your petrol.
Because
that also,
they all add up.
Save the pennies where you can. Kelsey on Facebook asked, what would be your advice on DIYing your own food and drink? Wow, Kelsey.
Wow, Kelsey, let me tell you.
That is something that I am seriously considering doing for my own wedding. And I'm a little bit scared.
It's quite an intimidating thing to do.
It is, yeah. But it is definitely possible. So being vegetarian, I have very strict ideas about what I want for my wedding. I don't want anyone to really be eating meat at my wedding. So, I've got foods that I really love, like that I would prefer to have than paying.
Oh yeah, well, you've got to enjoy your wedding food, haven't you? You don't want to fork out loads of money and then not really love.
Yeah. So I've been thinking about finding recipes of things that can be made in bulk, and you can start way ahead of time making them, put them in the freezer, and then on the day they can be brought out, obviously defrosted, and then put onto hot plates, and guests can sort of serve them. It can be like a serve yourself buffet.
Yeah.
The only thing there is I do think there's going to need to be somebody that's going to kind of need to be in charge of that, just because things like bread, olives, cheese, all that stuff can be sort of just kept chilled. It needs to be put on tables, or I don't know, I kind of like spitballing here, but basically there is definitely ways of doing it. It's just a little bit more difficult, and you kind of have to think of the logistics of it, but it can be done. And also we've got, sorry, was you going to say something? I
was going to say, and also you may need to like ask friends and families help with this, because obviously a standard size freezer isn't going to have enough room for everything. So beg your friends for some freezer space. People can keep stuff in there ready, and then bring it out when it needs to be.
And obviously follow like health and safety rules when it comes to hygiene. Like things can be frozen.
Food poisoning.
I'm pretty sure that things can be frozen in the freezer for something like 3 months, can't they?
Oh, I thought it was 6.
Oh wow, in that case, so
3 to 6 months.
I need to do some research on that, and don't take our word for it, and I definitely need to do some research on it, but it can be done.
But also don't take on the extra pressure if you're not, if you don't feel confident in the kitchen, or you don't cook often, and maybe catering is something that worth splashing out on.
As well as that I want to enjoy the day. I don't want to be worried about food. So you kind of have to weigh up
whether it's worth it or not.
Whether time and cost is worth the worry, I suppose. But if you feel brave enough to do it, then I'd definitely say give it a go. And also drinks. I mentioned this on the blog this week actually, that we went to a wedding recently where the couple made their own cocktails as welcome drinks, and you just helped yourself, so it was just Pimm's. I think it was there mojito?
It was Pimm's and ginger beer and vodka.
Oh, was that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so after like the first Pimm's, I think I was probably too drunk to know what it was. I was just drinking.
It was pretty strong. No, but it was good for people to just go up. They had like those giant mason jars filled with drinks. You could just pour yourself. They put out loads of glass bottles, didn't they? You could just pour yourself the drink, and it was super easy. It must have saved them a lot of money.
For a summer wedding, it was such a nice touch.
Yeah.
That's a really good way to DIY just a little bit of your food and drink if you don't want to go the whole hog and do the whole thing.
And also, Emily wrote a good post this week on the blog about, I think it was 25 cocktails you can make ahead of time. So we'll put the link below. Go ahead and read those. Those are all things she's
the most epic list ever. I love doing that.
But you really wanted to drink up.
The next question was from Sophie on Facebook, who said, "What to do with leftover wedding crap?"
Just what to do with leftover. What to do with leftover wedding crap? Well, that is a good question.
Again, I feel like I keep saying, like, I wrote a post on this, but I did write a post on this last week.
You're such a writer.
And it was all to do with recycling for your wedding. And one of the things was that you could use stuff from your home that you already have in your home. So for example, glass bottles, leftover glass bottles that you can paint, wrap material around. Oh, there's just so many different things.
People use like tins, don't they? Leftover tins, they spray paint them.
Yeah, I don't want to say it, but mason jars. Yeah, like that is possible. You can do stuff with them. And you know, you could either reuse them in your house after or recycle them.
So yeah, there's definitely things around your house that you can look at. Well, I don't actually know what your house looks like, maybe there isn't, but I'm sure there's some things around your house.
You've just got to use your imagination, I think, is the key. But I don't know, like, say you've got furniture, you collect vintage furniture, you would like to create like a vintage area in
or maybe you've got souvenirs from trips you've been on together. They would perhaps make nice little decorations around the table, or
photo frames.
Yeah, things like that you can pull from your home, and then obviously you're not wasting it. It's going to just go straight back in afterwards. And I think things from your house as well add a nice little personal touch. It brings more of your personality.
And also the other big thing is donate to charity.
Yeah,
like there's just so many local places. There could be village halls, schools, nurseries that want your pom-poms, that want your bunting for different things like fates in the summer.
Yes.
Just just do something nice with it and give it back to your local charity.
Yes, don't let it go to waste.
Don't let it go to waste. Don't let it sit in a box in the cupboard for like 10 years and then come across it one day and chuck it away. It's a waste, so don't, just do something nice with it.
Emily also wrote a post about this, and we'll put that below.
This whole YouTube video.
You could have just read this on that, What a waste of a vid.
Helen on Facebook asked, what are your main money saving tips? Well, I think we covered quite a few of them already.
Yeah, when it comes, I think one of the main things, people definitely think DIY in their weddings can save money, and it definitely can, but make sure you weigh it up, because sometimes it can't.
No.
Sometimes actually making the item can cost more. And it might look, maybe that's not a problem and it looks nicer, but you need to weigh up what's the priorities to you, work out exactly how many things you need to make of each item, how much that's going to cost you, and whether it is cheaper just to buy, to buy it. You need to work it out. So definitely, number one money saving tip is to research, basically.
Yeah, I'd definitely say research. Be organised and research.
Yeah.
Great tip, Jessica.
Oh, thanks.
Great tip.
Full of great tips.
Perry on Twitter said, how do you come to a conclusion when you and your partner have widely different ideas in terms of style when it comes to planning decor for your wedding? Well, Kerry. That is something that I can help with, because me and my partner have wildly different tastes. So basically Matt has no taste at all, and I do.
He has no taste.
So first of all, just put your foot down and say whatever you say goes. But then second of all, compromise. So for example, I don't think Matt even knows this, but I've been thinking that because part of his job is to work with aircraft tyres, and he's in aviation, we were thinking of making planters with tyres, and because I love bright and colourful colours, we were thinking about filling them with either bright and colourful flowers or painting the tyres bright and colourful colours. I've said colours a million times. But we just thought that would be a really nice way to tie in both of us.
Yeah.
The other thing this is silly because we don't have a poser, but we're both really into sort of nature and the environment, so we've compromised and used things that we love together. And yeah, we got engaged in Mexico, so we're thinking about using aspects from their culture for our wedding day as well. So more than, I suppose, try and think of things that you can do together. That makes it a lot easier. And then just use your imagination to tie in aspects of your sort of individual lives.
Yeah, definitely.
To bring it together that touch more.
And also, I think like your personalities are really important anyway, and you both work well as a couple. If you're drawing in things from each other's personalities, I don't really think it's going to look mismatched or anything. People are going to know that that's you guys all over. So
yeah,
just throw it all in
That's
there.
the great thing about DIY weddings, is that I think you can worry so much about it not matching, but it just does.
It does.
Mismatch is great.
Yeah, it is. It's great.
Just chuck it all in there. Okay, so Penny on Facebook
She asked us
how to manage DIY and how do you know when you've made enough?
That is a really good question. I think that's probably one of the hardest things with DIY is knowing how much to make. But I think the best thing you can do is, once you know how many people are coming to your wedding, and I guess it depends what you're DIYing, because if you're making your own favours, for example, you know how many people's going to be there and you know how many to make. But say there's 100 people coming, I would suggest making 110. Always make extra. Some aren't going to go the way you want them to, and you may have to throw them away, and carry on. Always get extra materials.
What about things like pom-poms and so making too few, like in a venue, can look a bit lost, and then
you basically
too many.
You can never have too much. I always think more is more, and I'd rather walk into a venue and it be absolutely rammed with things and be like, oh my god, it's so overwhelming, but it looks amazing, than it look bare.
Yeah.
And obviously that's not always possible if you're on a strict budget and you can't afford to buy more materials, but definitely look at the venue, look at how much space you've got, look at the spaces you definitely want to fill, and work out, a rough idea of what you think it'll be, and then add more to that. I think
it's easy to work out with things like bunting because you can go off like how many meters.
Yeah.
But also, if you think that you can't afford to do loads to say fill an entire marquee, then maybe just focus on areas.
Yeah.
So styling up areas
instead of the whole thing.
Yeah, maybe that's like another good piece of advice to go with.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, our friends that got married recently who had the drinks, they had a marquee to decorate, and instead of they were going to do it with pom-poms, instead of having them all hanging from the marquee, it just didn't work out that way because of the way the poles were positioned, so they decided they were going to decorate each pole, and that worked out quite well because we knew we needed 5 to 6 pom-poms per pole, and then we worked out how many pom-poms we needed from that. So it definitely does depend on the venue. Look at the logistics, look at where you can hang things if you can, because there's no point making 300 pom-poms and then realizing you actually can't hang them from anywhere. So yeah, and I think the main thing to take away is always make more than you need. And always start it way earlier than you think you need to, because they take such a long time to do.
They really do. I think preparation is definitely here. Like, it's better to have them made 6 months in advance.
Yeah, and then stuck in the cupboard for ages.
Than having 6 days left and still not having enough. So start way more.
And the thing is, the week leading up to your wedding is going to be stressful enough as it is. There's going to be vendors getting in contact with you. You're going to be finalising final details. The last thing you want is to still be trying to craft decorations or favours and material, get everything together. You want all the DIY stuff ideally done. I mean, obviously it doesn't always work out that way, but you really need to aim to get it done before, maybe set the deadline for 2 weeks before your wedding, and that's when everything needs to be done. And get your friends to help, get in the bridesmaids, get any crafty people around. Don't try and take it on all yourself, because that is a nightmare. That would be
definitely
very
accept help. I know there are lots of people that are quite perfectionists and they think they can do it all themselves, but your family want to help, your friends want to help you. Those people wouldn't offer that help if they didn't want to.
Yeah.
So definitely take them up on that offer.
And also, there's something quite nice about walking into your wedding. So I've heard, I've not walked into a wedding myself, my own, and knowing that things have been handmade by people that you love, and it just gives it more of a family feel, and it's more personal again, knowing that things have been made by friends and family, I think, anyway.
Okay, and
moving on.
Our final question is from Emma, who is actually my friend Emma from Vintage Rock.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that's amazing.
And that was on Snapchat, and she has asked, what interesting ways can you use upcycled furniture for weddings? Well, Emma.
Wow, Emma.
You know way more about this than what we do. A good example, actually, which we were just talking about with Jess's nan and granddad, was that they've got an old vintage cabinet, and they were saying that's just stuck in their garage, and they wondered if we wanted to do something with it. So we've just before this, actually just brainstorming ideas of what we could do with it. So we've been playing with the idea of making it into a dessert table, or it can just be like another piece of furniture which can be like a styled area.
Yeah, we could paint. You can paint it up. You can add in plants. You could pop your flowers on there. Everything. I think the key is to look around and find what you're not necessarily using that could be upcycled to a wedding or could be transformed. And like we mentioned earlier, going to charity shops, you'd be so surprised at what you can find.
I really love the idea at the moment of creating like chill out areas and lounging areas. So if you can just find even some like old kitchen, or some old, not old kitchen table chairs, but some old like chairs, not even dining chairs, like lounge chairs that can be reupholstered and put as like a lounge area.
Borrowing coffee tables from friends or whatever, just to have around so people can pop their drinks down on. It's just...
Or even not even worry about that, just using hay bales and then just having the lounge furniture or whatever. But yeah, there are so many ideas. You just have to use your imagination.
So upcycling furniture, definitely, paint. You can paint it into whatever, to fit your colour scheme. You can, like Emily mentioned, you can upholster them to look a bit different. You can... kind of it. Just get creative with it.
So I'm pretty sure anything you've got in your home, we could probably turn that into something for your wedding. So if you've got something you don't know what to do with it, Snapchat us, tweet us, Facebook us, Instagram us, whatever it is, and we will try our hardest to think of a way
that you could use it.
Yeah, you can use upcycle it. That's quite a fun challenge. We're up for a challenge.
Yeah, we love a challenge.
So I think that pretty much concludes today's Q&A.
Yeah.
We would like to do a series of these, so in the future there will be others about just wedding planning in general.
Budgeting.
I've just realised our chairs are really squeaky together.
I know, they're super squeaky.
Wonder what that
the whole video.
We'll probably be looking at doing some blogging ones, some more general ones about Jess, if you want to know anything about us.
Ask away.
Because we're quite boring.
We are open books. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you want to see more videos, and
give us a like.
Oh yeah, give us a like if you like.
And if you've got any questions for future Q&As, leave your questions below, please. Thank you, and
see you on the flip side. See you next week, y'all.
Bye.